Senator Peterson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, thank you, ladies, for your courage. I just want to ask President Galligan, are you still conflicted?
Senator, I've never been conflicted that we need to do a heck of a lot to change and that this is a tremendous institutional failure.
Are you still conflicted about the accountability? Because that was the thing about retroactive, because certain rules weren't or policies weren't in place, and so you felt like the 21-day and the 30-day. And can you tell me exactly? Miriam, right? Miriam? Which one is she?
Miriam is 21 days.
When did it start?
It started Friday.
This past Friday?
Yes.
Okay. And so when she leaves for 21 days, she gets to reflect and meditate
and take training.
Great. And then she comes back, late March. And then she comes back. She's been trained now. And what about these ladies and their stories? So you conflicted about whether she should be at LSU in a trusting position. Forget all the regulations. Forget the policies. She listened to stories and ignored them. Like, that fundamentally is where my conflict is with you right now.
I appreciate that.
No, I don't know if you do.
No, I do. I appreciate that. And I hear it. And
but don't listen to me.
I'm not.
Listen to all these stories.
I'm looking at you. I'm listening to them.
But what's the problem then? Like, you're talking about leadership. Lead.
I'm not. I need time to process.
That's what's phenomenal to me. You're at there's a reason they call it the flagship. It waves high above all others. It's supposed to. It's not waving very high right now. It's embarrassing. It's made most of us cry already.
Well, I think we've all cried today, and I don't want to. Well,
what you got to process? Tell me what you have to process.
I still have to process.
I mean, I'm 7 hours in process.
I still have to process. To me, I have to process what's fair to
everybody. Who? Fair to who?
To everybody involved.
No, see, that's where you're wrong. We have to be fair to the people who have been abused. That's our job as a leader. We have to take care of those that have been disadvantaged, those that have been wronged, those that have been abused. That's what our job is. We don't have to protect the powerful. And that's what the problem is around here. We, in this building, in other buildings, in institutions, we have always tried to protect the people who are in power. And the little man and the little girl and the people that are powerless don't get a voice. Because of us. And I'm putting myself in that position. And I'm not going to leave here. If we have to stay another 6 hours, let's talk about it until you no longer have a conflict.
Well, Senator, I'm not going to decide based on this afternoon.
Okay.
Without thinking to just fire someone. If I were to do that, I would fire myself.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. If you are so conflicted based on what you heard today, that not just these two ladies, the ladies that traveled here, having left Louisiana, having been in pain, having been wronged, if you are still conflicted after all of this, maybe you might have the wrong gig.
Well, there are a lot of people I wish I could fire. And whether
you don't feel like you have the power to fire them?
I feel I have the power to fire them if I were to decide to fire them. I think there are people who think it would be unfair to fire them because of the things that we discussed.
Who thinks that? So you don't think it necessary? You say there are people.
No, I think it too, or else I would have said fire them. We've discussed this previously. We've discussed why I didn't fire them. We discussed those reasons. We discussed the fact that the policies were unclear. And I know you keep telling me, the policies, but the policies were unclear. We discussed the fact that the head football coach, allegedly, I want to protect myself from liability, allegedly was doing things that the athletic director in 2 emails recommended he be terminated for, and those recommendations were not acted upon by those in the highest positions of authority.
I want to talk about these incidents right here in front of us.
So that there was no notice, and again, you're a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, and I'm stuck on this lawyer stuff. That notice is the hallmark of due process. So those are the reasons why I didn't fire them. If y'all think and the board thinks that they should be fired, my board of supervisors comes and says they should be fired, and I disagree with that, then fire me.
But do you disagree with firing them right now? You disagree with firing them still?
Yes, I do, because I think they were both put in positions where it was impossible for them.
They were just
to not
told.
fail.
Miriam was told information that she didn't act upon.
They were in positions where they could not.
Why did you suspend her? Let me work from
fail.
another angle. Why did you suspend Miriam?
I suspended her because even though she was subject to the authority of the athletic director, the head football coach, the president of the university, she still didn't take any action when Les Miles that investigation was occurring.
What about these incidents?
She also reported the incident involving Darius Geis, but she did not put Darius Geis's name into the report. So because Darius Geis's name wasn't in the report, what that meant is exactly what Ms. Owens said. What that meant was when subsequent events happened, there was no record back to Darius Geis. Miriam says she orally told the person she reported it to that it was Darius Geis, but she didn't put his name into it, and the person she reported it to didn't put his name into the record. So then what we have is a record of a terrible, terrible, awful event, but there's no mention of Darius Geis.
So what you just told me is you believe Miriam.
I believe Miriam told, and it's
No,
confirmed.
you believe Miriam's side of the story is what you just told me.
No. There's.
Yes.
I believe her on that.
Yes.
It's in the report.
Yeah, you believe Miriam's side of the story because we're hearing another side of the story based on the survivors.
I don't think we hear another side of the story.
I think we are.
on the Miriam report of Darius Geis, not factually.
Okay.
Are you finished, Madam?
I guess.
Senator?
I guess.
Let me know if you
I
need to
really
come
don't know
back.
what else to ask.